Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here to share with you my August wrap-up, all the books that I read in the month of August. And I'm pretty proud of myself because I had kind of an ambitious TBR, and though I didn't get to all of the books that I had wanted to, I did still manage to read 5, so that's awesome and I'm happy with that. So I'm going to share those books with you now. The first book that I completed this month was Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and this is a sci-fi thriller, and I have to say I really enjoyed this book. It's about a guy who one night he goes out to a bar and is having a drink with a friend, and when he leaves he kind of gets kidnapped and he ends up getting drugged and knocked out, and when he wakes up his life is completely different. He's not married to the woman that he's been married to for years. He doesn't have a teenage son. His career is completely different, and he's kind of like, whoa, what happened? So the book is him trying to figure out what happened, why his life was basically stolen from him. And it was just a really fast-paced, really hit the ground running right from the beginning. I really liked the pacing. It was just on the edge of your seat the entire time. The book deals with a lot of things. There's the sci-fi aspect. It gets into some sciencey bits that sometimes kind of went over my head a little bit, but I still really enjoyed. But then it also gets into themes dealing with living the life that you're given, themes of regret, if you could go back and change something about your life, would you, or do you think it would be better, or do you think it would be worse if you changed just this one little thing, and just all of that kind of stuff. So it had a really good mix of just really real down-to-earth themes, but also that kind of sci-fi aspect, and like I said, the pacing was great. All in all, I really enjoyed it. It was a great book. I would recommend it, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I completed this month was Final Girls by Riley Sager, and this was a highly anticipated summer thriller, and I have to say that it did not disappoint. It deals with a girl named Quincy who is a sole survivor of this horrible, brutal murder scene that happened to her when she was in college. She was with, I think it was 4 or 5 friends, and they were all killed except her, and she survived. And you can imagine how messed up that would make a person. And she doesn't have a full memory of what happened. There's a whole section of the evening that she's completely blacked out and can't remember what happened. But then she is trying to move on with her life, and she's now living a normal life. She has befriended 2 other girls who, like her, were involved in these massacres that they survived, where they were the sole survivors, and they're known as the Final Girls. And so she kind of befriends them and just kind of keeps in touch with them. And then one of them ends up dead. So the book kind of goes from there. And I have to say, I really enjoyed this book. I think that the beginning, the pacing was a little bit slow for me. I had a little bit of a hard time getting into it at first. But then I just really got into the story and wanted to know what happened and why. The twists, there were a couple twists in this book. And they were all, pretty good. The one I kind of saw coming, but the other one totally didn't, so I liked that part. The characters weren't exactly likable. Even Quincy, I was kind of eh. But she is a flawed character because, something really horrible happened to her, so of course she's not going to be, normal. But overall, I thought it was a really good thriller. It kind of had everything that you were looking for in a thriller, so I would definitely recommend Final Girls if you have not read it yet. And I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I want to talk about is Hunger by Roxane Gay, and this was a memoir that Roxane Gay wrote, basically about her and her body image, her relationship with her body and how she feels about her body. And I was really looking forward to this read, and I have to say I was a little bit disappointed with this one. I thought that the beginning was really strong, and when I first started the book I was like, this is going to be at least a 4-star book for me, because I felt like her story was just so, heartbreaking, but she was being so open and honest about it that you just were like, wow, this woman is really brave for sharing what she's gone through. And basically she talks about how she was raped at the age of 12 by a group of boys, and how that basically made her have serious body image issues and self-esteem issues. She basically after that just started to eat and eat and eat to kind of create a shield, a physical shield, make herself physically bigger to make her feel safer. which is incredibly sad. But that's what happened, and so for that, in that whole aspect, I thought that the book was really good. I thought her story, though it was sad, was important, and I really appreciated like her bravery and everything. And then she also goes and talks about just how society in general kind of, you know, has just these bad feelings about people that are of size, how they're often judged and treated badly, and that they shouldn't be. And a lot of those views that she had and some of her own personal stories that she shared, I definitely felt for her and felt that she made some valid points. However, I felt like by the end of the book, it got really repetitive. The writing got really repetitive, and I felt it also got a little bit wishy-washy. I don't know how else to say it. But by the end of it, I was not enjoying it as much, and I'm still not entirely sure why, because I felt like it was such a good book at the beginning, and then kind of by the end, I was just kind of like, eh. So, though it was a good memoir, it's definitely not the best one I've ever read, and I don't know if I would actually pick up another Roxane Gay book. Maybe some of her fiction I might enjoy, I'm not sure, but anyways, yeah, I gave that one 3 out of 5 stars. My next August read was The Husband's Secret by Liane Moriarty, and I listened to this one on audio. And I went into this book with really high expectations because earlier in the year I read Big Little Lies, and I loved that book. Just absolutely loved it. It was a 5-star book for me. I just loved that one. So going into this one, I had really high expectations. And this one, again, it was a little bit of a letdown. I did enjoy the book, but it just did not meet the expectations of Big Little Lies for me. But basically, The Husband's Secret is about a woman who finds this letter. She's cleaning out her attic one day, and she finds this letter that her husband addressed to her, wrote to her, but on the envelope it says, you know, basically open upon my death. And obviously he's not dead, so she's kind of conflicted, like, do I want to open this and read it? Like, what's in this envelope? Why would he want to tell me something after he's dead? Blah, blah, blah. And then it kind of goes from there, and there's really like 3 different kind of story arcs going on in the book, and you kind of find out how they're kind of all connected as the book progresses. But this one, I think the story was good. The Husband's the Secret, because of the nature of the structure of the book, you kind of know the secret. I mean, I did anyway, like pretty much right away I was like, oh, okay, well that's gonna end up being the secret. And I was right. So that part was a little bit of a letdown. I think that the characters were okay. I think that one of the things I loved about Big Little Lies, and that I also did really appreciate in this book, is that Liane Moriarty just knows how to write regular people, worrying about regular things and but somehow making it interesting. You know, all the people in her books, these 2 books of hers that I've read, the characters are just very like normal, down-to-earth people working normal jobs. Like, there's really nothing like spectacular about them, but you just feel this connection to them, and she's just really good at writing regular people. So this book was definitely like that as well, but I just felt like the story just wasn't as compelling to me as Big Little Lies. And the characters, though they were good characters, and I felt that they were written well, there wasn't really one that I really, really like loved and connected with. I felt that they were all kind of okay, you know, like likable, but not, you know, not anything to like write home about. So overall, I liked the book. I would definitely recommend it to people because it was an enjoyable read for sure. But I just gave it 3 out of 5 stars. I liked it, didn't love it, didn't hate it, so 3 out of 5 stars. The last book that I completed this month was Gather the Daughters by Jenny Melamed. And I'm not going to say too much about this one because I did a full book review, a very long book review already on this book. So I will link that video down below if you're interested in getting like more of my thoughts on it. But basically, it's a book about this island that a group of these people live on where, long story short, the girls and the women are not treated very well. They kind of have the short end of the stick for sure in this little society. And basically the girls decide that they don't want to live this lifestyle anymore, and so they have a little revolt, if you will. So that's all I'm really going to say about it. I had a lot more thoughts about it in my book review, but overall, I really enjoyed this book. I felt like it was just very emotionally charged. It makes you feel all kinds of things and just think all kinds of things. It's very thought-provoking, very scary in a way, especially if you're reading it as a woman, or, you know, it's just, to think that there could be a society like that is just, to me, is just terrifying. So I really, really enjoyed it. I would highly recommend that book, and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Alright guys, so that is my wrap up for August. Like I said, I think I had a pretty good reading month, considering I had an ambitious TBR, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get to any books, and I ended up reading 5, so I was pretty happy with that. And like I said, a couple of them I really, really enjoyed, so I can't complain. Overall, it was a pretty good month. So please let me know in the comments what you read this month. If you have anything that you think I would like, I would love to know. And if you've read any of these books and want to share your thoughts on them, please feel free to do that as well. But other than that, that is all I have for today, guys. I hope that you are having a fabulous week, and I will see you soon. Bye!